The next big event in the NFL is the draft. We don't know what's going to happen. I hope what's going to happen. I think we all hope what's going to happen if you're a Patriot fan. But pre-draft, which NFL team do you think has had the best offseason so far, and why? And also, which team, sorry, Bobby, do you think has had the worst offseason so far, and why?
So I'm going to go with the Bears for the best offseason because they've addressed everything that was a negative. And I know again, I wish DK was here to play the negative on this because I know he would, because he's been trying to keep himself from being so excited. But addressing the offensive line and bringing in Ben Johnson when you already have the quarterback in place is just, you know what I mean? You look at everyone else across the league, and it's just they already have everything set up. And if they can go out and get a playmaker in the draft, I can't think of his name right now, but the tight end out of Penn State is the guy I'm looking at. I feel like he would be a home run for them and really put them in a position to do something. So I'm going to go with the Bears for my offseason winner. Offseason loser, I want to go with the Cowboys, but no, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
You don't. You can't do it.
No, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys because it's the same thing every year, man. It's the same bullshit. I can't take it anymore. So I don't have another team that I can say that pisses me off more than what the Cowboys have done this offseason. The only thing positive I can say about the Cowboys this offseason, they actually signed 2 running backs, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. The only 2 positive things they did. But yeah. What about you? Who's your winner?
Okay. So my winner, I obviously, I think the Bears have had a fantastic offseason, but just for the sake of not having overlapping top, Washington Commanders. And I think that the Bears obviously had a list of things that they needed to improve after last year to make that they protect, obviously their quarterback, Caleb. They want to make sure everything goes well. But the Commanders were in the NFC title game. And what did they do? They went out and they traded for Deebo Samuel to now be on the opposite side of Terry McLaurin. And they had bad offensive line in that NFC title game. So what did they do? They traded for Laremy Tunsil from the Houston Texans. One of the best offensive linemen that we have seen over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know how you look at that and say that they did not load up for their young quarterback. And this is what teams should do while they have a quarterback on the rookie contract, right? I love it. I absolutely love it. And they should be a Super Bowl contender for the next 3 years or so.
I mean, at least. I mean, especially when you have the Eagles losing a couple pieces too. I love what the Commanders did this offseason. It's so disappointing to see 2 teams in the NFC East on the rise, and then my Cowboys just literally doing nothing. It's so disappointing, and it's so sad. I feel like out of all the teams, we love to do like touch base with all the teams that we all follow, and out of everyone's team, my team is in last place right now, and it's hurting me because I feel like not too long ago we were in first place. So it's just how times have changed. It changes quick.
So, and I don't want to overlap content, and I don't want to add too much to spare to you. So I'm going to say that the New Orleans Saints had the worst offseason. They're a team that entered the offseason, I think they were $30 million already over the cap. So what do? They pay 2 years, $13 million for Brandon Cooks. They pay 3 years, $51 million for Chase Young, Justin Reed, and Juwan Johnson. So most notably on this team is that they're still relying on their playmaker, Alvin Kamara, who's only getting older. Their quarterback is still Derek Carr, who we both know sucks. And they haven't made the postseason in 5 years. So I think that one of the most frustrating things for me is that their GM, is it Mickey Loomis? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Loomis.
So. Yeah. He refuses to repair the salary cap errors without restructuring contracts. Like, he has a habit of overpaying for older players and doesn't have the patience for developing through the draft. So all he's doing is putting himself in a position where next year he's going to be $30 million over the cap before. Their drafts are going to be terrible. And I feel bad for the fans in New Orleans because it wasn't so long ago that they were a perennial playoff team. But just before that, they were still the New Orleans Aints, and it feels like that's what they're going to be again.
The only thing they have going for them right now is Alvin Kamara. That's it. And it's been that way for a while. Derek
Right.
Carr really set that franchise back a good amount. He's the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL right now. And is it
Well,
him
hold
or
on.
is it him or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun.
Is it
I
Deshaun?
mean, at least Derek Carr gets out there and gets his ass kicked, right?
That's fair. Okay.
But I'm with you. But talent wise, I would still take Deshaun, even post happy endings and all. Like, he's still more talented than Derek Carr.
Especially for the money. So I like that. Saints are tough. I feel like an honorable mention is the Cleveland Browns because they haven't addressed their quarterback situation. I mean, Kenny
Well, what
Pickett.
could they do? What could they do?
Kenny Pickett is not the answer, though. Is the only thing. I mean, they can maybe go get Kirk Cousins. They can trade for Kirk Cousins. Is that not a possible thing they can do?
Well, they could, but Atlanta is now on the hook for that $10 million roster bonus because they, again, talking about fucking wild drafts. They paid that man $200 million and then drafted Michael Penix to the top 10.
That's still wild to me. It'll never make sense.
And it might have been, you know what? Turns out it might have been a move.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins was terrible last year, so it very well could have been. Anyone else in the NFL right now that you're looking at that really fucked up this offseason?
I mean, I don't know how you look at a team like the Seattle Seahawks or actually the San Francisco 49ers and think, like, I think their window's closing, right? I mean, the Seahawks, they let go of DK. They got rid of Geno. I don't know what they're going to do. But the 49ers have been a perennial Super Bowl or NFC title contender for the last 4 or 5 years. And now, I mean, Deebo's gone. You get another year of, oh God, come on, help me out with their tight end, Kittle. He's getting older. Ayuk's hurt, or so he's coming off of an injury. They had to pay Brock Purdy. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that they're falling out. I don't think they're a top 4 NFC team anymore. Do you?
No, and I think Kyle Shanahan is going to – we've been saying this for a couple of years in this podcast, and I feel like Kyle Shanahan is a little bit overrated when it comes to what he does, and I feel like that's going to come out this year because I completely agree. They've lost a lot this offseason, and it should be at a time where they're spending money because they have Brock Purdy on that rookie contract, and that's – not just a rookie contract, that's the 7th-round rookie contract. It's something like he's making a couple $100,000 every single game rather than millions and millions and millions. The Seahawks, I think, are very intriguing because they made such a lateral move at quarterback, and I don't know what the thought is there going from Geno to Darnold because I feel like Geno would have been cheaper, and he is a little bit older, but it's the system that he's already been in and he knows. So I don't know about that move. Do you think Darnold's going to show out this year?
Well, I think, listen, if you're just talking about potential, I think Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Geno Smith. And so do the Jets, which is why they drafted him. And they let go of Geno. Right? So, but what do they know? But I think it's wild that they replaced DK Metcalf with Cooper Kupp. And they let go of Tyler Lockett, right? So this is really a whole new offense. So they got Cooper Kupp, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, I don't know. I think the difference between what Sam Darnold was last year was that all they needed him to do was not lose them a game. Like, don't be the reason why you lose, because the Vikings offense and obviously, honestly, like, the defense was good enough to get you to where you needed to go. The Seahawks, though, they're going to need him to win them games. And I don't know if he has that in him. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I worry about the Seahawks. I think that they paid, between Darnold and Kupp, that's $145 million to Cooper Kupp. I think is great, and I wanted him in here in New England, but I think he's a step down from DK Metcalf. I think it's going to make that things harder for Jackson Smith
In Jigba?
and Njigba.
In
Njigba, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking to you for names, and you call him Brian Dayball Dabble. So that's how bad I am right now. But like, I think that offense is going to take a huge hit. So it wouldn't shock me either way. Like, I know this sounds like I'm hedging. I would be equally as shocked if the Seahawks won 13 games as I would be if they won 4. I think it's either going to be boom or bust for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sam Darnold to me is boomer bust. I feel like he's the definition of boomer bust coming off this last offseason or this last season. It's either he's going to be the guy that you saw the first 13 games of the season getting lifted off on the shoulders, or he's going to be the guy that's getting run out of town like he did in New York. So we'll see.